All right, we are good. Okay, so welcome everyone to our training today. Today's training is putting the you do back into virtual reading small groups. And some of the work that we're going to be doing today is just in response to some of the struggles that I've heard, people communicate as far as small groups go, and getting kids to do the work and how to do that when you're separated by a screen. So I'm going to start. We're going to go over the agenda for today. So we're going to start with talking about what is the big problem with virtual small groups. And then we will look at the strategy group structure and what that looks like virtual. And then we're going to view grade level sample small groups. And then just like if you went to my Seesaw training, we're going to walk through a step-by-step how-to. And then we'll have just like 10 minutes of question and answer, or if you want to go into a breakout room and sort of just discuss with your colleagues, you can. And then we'll end with a quick survey, closure, and feedback. Okay, so the big problem with virtual small groups. So what is this struggle that we are having? And the struggle really is that we cannot see the you do, right? We're trying to figure out lots of ways to see the you do. Some people are using whiteboards, some people are having the students tell them, but it gets particularly hard when we are trying to see the you do within readers' small groups. Why? Because of the books, right? Because the kids are reading at different paces, they're working at different paces. We can't see their book. If we're sharing the screen with them, it's complicated because one student might need to turn the page and one student's not ready yet. And it ends up being somewhat more superficial than what we would be doing if we were in the classroom. And that is in no way an insult to the effort that's being put into it. We are facing the challenge of going beyond the screen, right? And when I say we, really, I mean you guys. I've done quite a few of these small groups and classrooms, but I know you guys are dealing with it on a day-to-day basis. So what I'm going to share with you today is one way that you could do it. And I wanted to just be really clear about that. I'm not saying that this is the only way. And of course, when you come to one of my trainings, you know I'm going to take sort of the techie approach to something. So know going into this that if the techie approach doesn't work for you, that's okay. You can walk away today with the structure of this small group, if not the actual way of doing it. But of course, I'm gonna try to bring that tech piece in because that's my thing. And when maybe you've noticed in the past few trainings that I've been trying to really touch on topics that are like kind of, I would say, like the most bang for our buck topics. So small groups, shared reading, things that we really could be using to get our kids where they need to be. And then the other thing I've really been trying to do this year, and maybe some of you guys have noticed, but I really purposefully been trying not to bring in a lot of platforms. There's pretty much only 3 platforms that I go back to over and over again, and that is Jamboard, Seesaw, and Google Slides. And really Google Slides I've been using more from the teacher use side. And that's not to say that students can't use it, but Jamboard seems to span the whole, any kid can use it. Kinder to 8th grade, they all can figure it out. They all can use it. So today we are going to be focusing on Jamboard, sort of sticking with that same platform. And the reason why we're not using Seesaw is because, as you know, Seesaw it's asynchronous, right? It's not really something that you can have all the kids on and be working on collaboratively. So that's why we're going to be sticking with Jamboard today for both lower grades and upper grades. Okay, so now we're going to move into taking the strategy group structure virtual. So making what is the structure of a strategy group and taking it virtual. Okay, now the next part could either be for some of you guys like, oh, I'm glad to know this information, or for some of you guys, you might feel like, oh my gosh, another change. So know going into this that what I'm about to present to you, and my Emory teachers, I see Monica Hueso there, and I see a couple of my Emory teachers there. You guys are familiar with this because this is what we've been talking about in LabSites. But TC has sort of in the past few, I would say, months, sort of changed their thinking around, as they always do, right? They're a think tank, has sort of changed their thinking about the structure of a small group. In essence, it's very similar to what it was before with just a few tweaks. And the biggest thing is they're using a little bit different terminology. So instead of saying like connection, teaching point, teach, active engagement, link, it looks a little bit different. So I'm going to introduce to you that terminology today. And you are welcome to use this terminology, or you're welcome to just think of it as what it is, which I will tell you about that right now. Okay, so first, the first part of a small group is the rally. The rally. So the rally is essentially a warm-up. Okay, so that's one of the big difference between the connection and the rally. The connection was more like you as the teacher saying, so let me tell you this story and somehow it's going to connect to the strategy, right? A rally is they are immediately starting the work, immediately getting into the work and doing something that is going to eventually connect or support what we're doing in the small group. Then comes the teaching point, which is the same as before, short and concise. I've gathered you here today because I noticed we all need to work on main idea and detail, or I noticed we all need to work on comparing two texts or so forth. Now for that rally, it's going to, again, like I said, look like a quick warm up connected to the strategy, state the teaching point, and it might sound like to get started, let's quickly do this. And today I want to teach you, and then your teaching point. Then the next part is called try one. Try one. So they're going to have 2 tries at working with the strategy. Typically, the try one is sort of the equivalent of like our active engagement. It's like a teacher-led try, but it's with the kids helping along. So that looks like doing the strategy work with the students. It might sound like let's try. It could be a teacher example, but more than likely you're going to want to get the kids involved in it. Then try 2, the kids are taking on the work. They're going to be doing the work. And I know maybe you're possibly thinking to yourself, like, what does that look like in virtual? We're going to talk about that today. So they're practicing the strategy within the text while the teacher coaches in. So you would say something like, now it's your turn to try. And then lastly, the link, it's just basically you're restating the teaching point, reminding them to keep doing that work when they're reading. It's not like now you're going to go home and do this, because we know that in virtual learning, like assigning the homework, that's a battle not worth choosing, especially for a small group. I took the TC template that they used and just made some slight changes to it, and it will be linked here. And I'm going to share with you guys in the chat the link for all the resources today. You know how I always send out that resources document after? I decided to do it ahead of time today. It's not completely done because I'll need to add to it the recorded PD. Not that anybody goes back and watches them, but I add it there anyways. And so in this document, you'll find the slides, you'll find everything that we're going to be working with today. The slides are right at the very top, so you can get into the slides from there. Okay, so I'll give you just a second to come back to Zoom because I know you're probably, if you clicked on that link, it probably took you out of Zoom. So just come back to the Zoom logo. All right, so that's our structure. So it's 5 parts. I know I did a bad job on the slide there because it looks like 4 parts, but it's 5. It's rally, teaching point, try 1, try 2, link. Okay. Okay, so now if we know in our heads that that is the work that we're doing, that's the structure of the work, then we have some choices to make when we're planning for this small group. So what are the choices? So the first thing you have to decide is what strategy are you going to teach? What's your small group going to be all about? Are you going to do main idea? Are you going to do compare and contrast? Are you going to do theme? Are you going to do, so first thing is what strategy will you teach? The second thing is what text will you use? So I'm going to be completely bluntly honest. If I was in the classroom, I would not be having students use independent texts for my small group time. I want to control that text. I want to know exactly what they're reading. I want to see it. I can't do that if I say, pull out your book that you're reading. Now, maybe some people like that. Maybe some people don't. That's okay. I'm just sharing with you what I would do. I would like to have that control of knowing exactly what they're reading and where my small group time is going, because I can't control what they do in the house, but the small group time, that's my real estate. That's what I control. So I want to make sure I have that planned out. So what text will I use? How will I get the students active? So what do I want the you do to look like? And then lastly, how will I scaffold or support them? So we're going to go into these 4 areas and we're going to talk about what each of these 4 areas of planning would look like. So first, what strategy will you teach? So today, the work that I am going to really be trying to, that I want to show you, and I'm going to just escape out of here real quick so that I can go into the Padlet, is the idea of using the anchor charts from our units for our small groups. Now, what do I mean by that? So we're teaching our kids in this quick mini lesson, right? An aspect of the unit. And then we feel like, well, they didn't get it because it was 10 minutes. They're probably not going to get it in 10 minutes. But if we are continuing to spiral the strategy work of that unit, and they're hearing it in small group, and they're hearing it in interactive read aloud, and they're hearing it in the mini lesson, then we don't expect them to get it in a 10-minute mini lesson, right? We understand that they need multiple opportunities to be exposed to the strategy in order to get it. And the work that I'm going to show you when I do the step-by-step, here's how we would do it, is going to be with these anchor charts. So I'm not going to go into detail about those yet because we'll come back to those. The other option, sorry about that, come back over here, it is to use bands of text complexity. Now, if you have never heard of these before, I'm going to briefly introduce them, but I also don't want you to get overwhelmed by, oh, this is so much new stuff. So if you're like, I've never heard of bands of text complexity, okay, stick with the anchor charts. Or we'll talk about another way that you could do it. So, but let me go ahead and show you these bands of text complexity. So the bands of text complexity are a tool that was created by TC. And what they do is they take a chunk of levels and they say, these are the strategies or the skills that typically at this level kids will be doing. So you could pretty much do these strategies or skills with any small group at those levels. So like KLM, they're identifying a problem in a story, explaining an idea that you're growing about a character in the story, and so forth. Then NOPQ, this is some of the work that they're doing. Now, the idea behind the bands of text complexity is that you're able to reach like the most important needs, the most important strategies. It wouldn't be as specific as using the unit anchor charts. Or the last option would be to do those grade 3 through 8 assessments and that whatever comes in the assessment. If you're primary and you're not sure what that is, don't worry about it. It doesn't apply to you. Okay, so next question is, so we choose our strategy. We know what we want our small group to be about. Now we need to choose a text, right? We need something that's going to be appropriate. And even though we feel like we might not have a lot of options, we actually do have a lot of options. So I'm going to go through some of them right now. So the first option is you could do a close read text. And what I mean by this is a short text, an article, something that's 1, 2, 3 pages max, right? So here's some examples. Raz Kids, and I've linked it in the resources, has these close read passages for grades 2 through 6. They're really nice. They're about 3 to 4 pages, sometimes 2 pages, so 2 to 4 pages max, and they work really well in small groups. The other option would be, do you remember these articles that we use? Those of you guys that have been around for a little while, the Comprehension Toolkit articles. These are really great for nonfiction. They have some great topics. They're one-pagers. We have access to them. I've linked that for you, and they're in Spanish and in English. And then the last one would be thinking about even those test prep texts. You know, the test prep texts that come along with our unit. As we're going to be going into our test prep unit, it would make a lot of sense to be doing our small groups with these texts. And they're typically, you know, a couple pages. Another option would be like a shared text, something that spans, you know, a couple pages, and you could take just a chunk of that, like a book, let's say from Raz Kids or from Epic. You could just do a couple pages of it. Kids don't have to have access to the whole thing. For my primary teachers, you could use even like these decodable books, which I've given you access to in the resources. Or as the teacher, you could read aloud a book and they could be doing some of the thinking work on the Jamboard. Okay, so now it's like, oh, that's a lot. Choose one, just choose one. Don't get overwhelmed by everything. I just wanted to show you that there are quite a few options. And of course you can throw Epic in there as an option as well. All right. So that leads us to our next question, which is, how will we get the students active? What is the UDO? What could the UDO look like? Well, if you're using Jamboard, the UDO could look like the little Post-it notes. I did groups and we'll watch these today, but I did a group with second grade and they were doing the Post-it notes. Kindergarten, that's pushing it a little bit. Kinder, I would probably be like more like moving stuff around, maybe highlighting at the most. So Post-it notes. The second way to get them active specifically on Jamboard is highlighting. So you put the text in there, they're highlighting the evidence in the text. That takes a little bit less capability than, you know, okay, let's open a Post-it note, let's type it in there. But by the way, if they can highlight, they can learn to do the Post-it note. You can coach in and they can talk out loud. They can type in the chat. I'm going to be completely honest, and I please don't throw any tomatoes at me. I am not a fan of having the kids type in the chat. And I'm going to tell you why. Because one, I think it takes a really long time and it consumes the time. And two, I think that you have a few kids that do it, but they don't all participate. And it's really, really hard to keep track of who's participating and who's not when you're in the moment. That's just my personal opinion from what I've seen and what I've done with the kids. I tried it and I wasn't a huge fan of it, but if it works for you, then awesome. And then the last way to get them active would be to manipulate things. So especially our TK through 2 kids, moving stuff around. We see this like in math, but you'll see it today in our phonics unit, in our phonics small group. I'm sorry. Okay, last question. So, and then we're going to move into seeing this in action, I believe. I think that that's what's next on our schedule. So we're going to think now about, so how can I scaffold or support the work? Like, how can I get the kids to actually do the work? Because we all know what it feels like to be like, okay, so what do you think, so-and-so? And then it's like silence, right? Unmute yourself, please. Are you there? Alicia, are you there? Is your mom sitting next to you? I am saying this from experience, okay? So how do we get the kids active? Coaching, scaffolding that by coaching. We can't expect them to do something. It's just like in the classroom. We have to like walk them through it. We really have to give them that support until they have a routine. Once they have a routine, everything is easier because they know what to expect. Second way is we can give them sentence frames even within the Jamboard. And you'll see in the videos that I did that. This is especially helpful for our English learners. You can use the anchor charts from our unit. You can add that into the Jamboard. You'll see in one of the videos that I did that. And you could front load. So whatever the work is you want them to do, front load it in the rally or in the try one. All right. Okay. So I know that that was a lot of information. And so what we're going to do next is we are going to view the grade level sample group. So I want you to see what this could look like. As you're watching, what I really, really want you to do is be thinking through this lens. Where are the different parts? So like, when is she in the rally? When is she in the try one? When is she in the try two? And when is she in the, or I think I skipped teaching point, but teaching point. So the 5 parts: rally, teaching point, try one, try two, link. And then the other thing I want you to think about is, how are the kids getting active? So where is the you do, right? Like, when are the kids getting active? Notice, like, if they get active right away in the rally, like you're telling them, when you get them active right away, what you're telling them is, and let me just see how I'm doing on time. Okay, I'm 2 minutes over. I'm okay. You're telling them, I expect you to work today. I'm not going to start by talking for 15 minutes, because if I do, what I'm telling you is that by the time it's your turn to do something, you're already burnt out and you're probably not going to do it. Right. So instead, I get them active right away. So they know the expectation here is that you're going to do something. you're going to work today. And I do want to say, like, I recorded all of these lessons yesterday. I'm not trying to claim that they're perfect, especially like the primary ones. You guys know, poor Nena, I'm like always having to ask her, how do you tell me how you say the L sound again? Like, my tongue doesn't do it. So, please don't watch these with a critical mindset, because I'm just like you guys. I'm not a TC consultant, staff developer. I'm a teacher like you guys. So, but I do want you to be able to see the different parts and what that looks like and how the kids get involved. And it's not perfect, but it's there. So here's what we're going to do. I tried to be very responsive to some of the feedback and also really thinking about the different grade level spans. So what I did was I recorded 4 small groups. There's a kinder small group. Okay, you guys. There is a 2nd grade small group. There's a 4th grade small group, which would be all of my upper grade teachers would attend that one, or there is a 4th grade small group using the bands of text complexity. Okay, so if you are kinder or first, you're going to stay with me and we're going to do the kinder small group together. If you are 2nd grade, you can decide. If you stay with the kinder first group, know that that's going to have more of a phonics and bands of text complexity focus. If you want to see the anchor chart group, you're going to go to 2nd grade. Okay, I hope that's not too confusing. Then if you are a 3rd or 4th grade teacher, or 5th or 6th or any other grade level, you can just pick. If you want to go to the anchor chart one, go to the 4th grade group. If you want to go the bands of text complexity one, you go the bands of text complexity group. Okay. So what I'm going to need, I'm going to just turn off I'm going to stop screen sharing for a second because I want to be able to see all of you guys. I need a person in each of the rooms to be willing to share their screen and play the video for the group. So this is the first time we're trying to do it this way. Katie Patton is going to play the second grade video. Nancy, can you play in your room do you want to do the fourth grade anchor chart or the fourth grade bands of text complexity group?
Text complexity.
Okay. And then I need somebody for the fourth grade anchor chart group that can share their screen and play the video.
Megan, I can do it.
Okay, great. Who was that?
Me, Cindy.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay, so what it means is you'll just need to make sure you're in the slides. I know you already know that, and you just play the slide, okay? And share your screen so that everybody can see it. So in the breakout room options down below, if you click on them, you will see that there's the second grade sample video room, the fourth grade sample video room, and the bands of text complexity group, which is fourth grade as well. If you're kinder or first, stay here with me, okay? Everybody else can go ahead and go into their room now. And if you have not updated, I know I say this every time, but if you haven't updated, please make an appointment with me so that we're not trying to do it during the PD time. Okay, so kinder, I kept you guys here because, and first grade, and possibly some of you guys are second grade as well. I kept you here instead of going in the breakout rooms because I have one more piece that I want to talk about with you prior to sending you into the breakout rooms. So let me go ahead and share my screen again. Okay, so kinder and first grade and second grade as well. Your guys' groups follow the exact same structure, except that there's a little bit different focus because we know that your kids, what they need is not just the reading, but they really need the phonemic awareness and they really need the word making and the phonics. So while it follows the same structure, it is just a little bit different focus in the different parts. So we're going to go over that now. So first is the rally. In the rally, it is phonological awareness, the whole rally. Okay, and you'll get to see that. Now, I'm going to just briefly share with you this document. I want you to know that in March, at the beginning of March, I'm going to be offering a training just for you guys that is all around this document, all around this curriculum, okay? You probably have not seen it, some of you might. So this is Teachers College. They recently came out with this supports for phonological awareness. We know that that was a piece that was definitely missing, right, in the units of study. Now, what is beautiful about this curriculum, and I'm going to skip forward, is that it's directly connected with the phonics unit of study. So for instance, this is what goes with the vowel power unit. And then it gives you the gestures and the prompts. But then when I come down into here, it tells me day 1, day 2, day 3, like everything that I'm doing. Okay. We're not going to worry about this right now because in March, I'm going to do a whole training on this. So I don't want you to get too caught up in this, but I just want you to know that this is where we are getting that phonological awareness. This is where we're getting that from. So when you watch the small group, know that that's the document where that came from. Okay, then comes the teaching point, just like we said. Then comes the phonics portion, the word making, the blending, the actual hands-on. And lastly comes the reading in context. So now we're going to take whatever strategy it is, and we're going to work on it in an actual book that supports it. And then finally, we'll end with the link. Now, 2 things I want to show you. The first is you might be asking, okay, how do I decide which phonics strategy to do? Here's how you could choose to decide. The same way we have the bands of text complexity for upper grades, we have it as well for lower grades. So this is what AB readers would be doing. They'd be pointing under the words and moving from left to right. They'd be using the illustrations to confirm their reading. Here's what CD readers would be doing. They'd be working on CVC words, blends, digraphs, vowels, and so forth. So we pick our strategy, we pick what we want to work with based on the level of kids that we're working with. And then we find a text that supports that. So like I want to work on blends. I'm going to come pick a text that supports blends. You can see here that in this column, we have blends. We have the silent E. So we have a few decodable books in there, and TC is continuing to add to these. Okay, so what I want to do right now, because this is a lot of information, is I want to play the video because I want you to be able to see what it looks like. So here's what you're going to be watching for. The phonological awareness at the beginning, that will be the rally. Then the phonics piece, try 1. Then the reading piece, try 2. And finally the link. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start the video. No judging me for my schwas, I brought you together today because I thought, okay, you guys, so I brought you together today because I thought that we could do a little bit of phonics work and a little bit of reading work together because we know that we need phonics in order to read, right? We need to know how to make sounds, how to put sounds together in order to read. So today, what we're going to do is we are going to work on our blends, but before we do that, I thought we could maybe warm up our brains. Are you ready? Here's the rally. And warm up your tongues. All right, here we go. So I am going to tell you 2 words and I want you to tell me if they rhyme. And if they rhyme, give me a thumbs up. And if they don't rhyme, give me a thumbs down. Are you ready? Back and stack. Do those rhyme? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Make sure I can see it. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Back, stack, back, stack. You should be giving me a thumbs up. Those rhyme. Okay, next one. Tell day. Tell day. Do those rhyme? Good. Those do not rhyme. Slice twice. Slice twice. Good. Those rhyme. Stop still. Stop still. Those do not rhyme. Very good. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you a word and I want you to tell me what the first sound is. Ready? Make sure your microphones are off. Rhyming. Now we're doing onset sound. Basket. What's the first sound? Put your microphones on. Sorry, I said make sure your microphones are off. I meant to say make sure your microphones are on. Good. Basket. Good. Okay, next word. Park. Good. Lollipop. Good. Slide. Good. Bench. Good. Okay, now I'm going to say some words and I want you to tell me the last sound. Are you ready? Sat. Good. Coat. So now we're doing ending sounds. Good. Hill. Good. Bag. Good. Flip. Flip. Good. Okay, so now I'm going to say 2 parts of a word and I want you to squish them together for me. Are you ready? Now we're doing parts of word. Puppy. Syllables. Good. Basket. Timer. Playing. Okay, now we're going to get harder. Now I'm going to give you a word and you break it into parts. Are you ready? Purple. Purple. Okay, do it with me. Purple.
Purple.
Purple. Good. Okay, now dinner.
Dinner.
Good, good. Zebra.
Zebra.
He knows the
Good.
correct hand
Bunny.
signals. I was doing the wrong one.
Good. Okay. So now I'm going to say a word and then I'm going to tell you a word that you can add to it. And I want you to make me a new word. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Sun and add rise.
Sunrise.
Rise. Good. Sun and add set.
Sunset.
Good. Sun and add shine.
Sunshine.
Good. Book and add case.
Bookcase.
Good. Okay, now I'm going to give you a word and I'm going to tell you which word to take away. Are you ready? Book bag, take away bag.
I should have said
Book.
say book, but don't say
Good.
bag.
Bookmark, take away
But-
mark.
Okay.
Book. Book.
Good. Okay, great job, you guys. So today we are going to use what
That
we
was
know
like
about
5 minutes
phonics
in the
to make
rally.
words and to read blends. Blends when two letters come together to make one sound, like sm, 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 small, smile. So what we're going to start by doing is we're going to make some words and I'm going to share this Jamboard with you so that you can practice making your own words. So I'm going to show you this first one and then I'm going to let you do it. Okay, so let's look at this first one and let's say it together. Ready? Boom, boom. Can you guys say it? Good. Good. Okay, now let's think, what words could we make with this? Plow? Is that a word? No. Plip? Is that a word?
No.
Plip? No. Pliff?
No.
No. What is that word?
Play.
Play. That makes a word. Okay, so it's your turn to try. You're going to make your word. So I am going to put this link in the chat. And as soon as you see the link, click on it. Okay, here it comes.
Yeah. I clicked it.
All right. So as soon, oh, I see the first person in. I see the second person. Find the slide that has your name on it. So go through your slides till you get to the one with your name on it.
You can see them. They're
Okay.
like,
all right,
they're
everybody's
going in
on their
there.
page.
They're good at it.
And go
because we've
ahead
done
and
it
as
now
you're
a couple
making your
times.
words, say out the sounds.
Daniela's been working on it with them.
Good, Anthony. Anthony, can you tell me, can you sound out this one for me? Go ahead and say it.
It.
Good. And I like here you got blob. Blob. Okay, Kaylani.
Which is a funny word.
That is a funny word. All right, Kaylani. So let's make our sound. So
You can see like you can flip
this one
through
right
the
here, sweetie. What
pages
sound
and
does
see
this
what
one
the kids
make?
are doing.
Good. Now put it together.
Blob.
Blob. Good. Okay, that makes our word. Now make the next word. Wow, Anthony, can you read your words to me? Start at the top right here. What word is this? Put the whole word together. Is that a word that you recognize? Let's try a different one. Let's move that one over. Try another one.
You recognize play.
Oh, good. Okay. Okay. Where could this ip go? What blend could you add that to?
Sip.
Good. Good job, Anthony. Okay, I'm coming back to you, Kaylani. Say the word, Kaylani.
Sip.
Slip. Good. Good job, Kaylani. Okay, let's do one more and then we're gonna move on. What could go with What word does that make?
Can you read it for us, Miss Kaylani?
Smell. What word does this make?
Smell.
Smell. Good.
Got
Good
it. Good
job.
job.
Okay, can everybody go back to where you can see me? Go back to Zoom. So right here, I'm just changing it to viewer view so that they can't edit it because I don't want them in it anymore. Back to Zoom. And you know they're back in Zoom when you're on. Okay, you
iPad
guys, so
because you
we
can see
tried
their
it
picture.
once and now we're gonna try a second time, and this time we're gonna read with our blend words. So will you read with me? Let's read it together. The block. So this is try two. Good. Okay, ready? Let's play tag.
Tag.
Rashid is it. Rashid was with his pals. Good. Did you guys notice this word here, play? That's one of our
Yes.
blend words.
Yeah.
Play. Let's keep reading. Rashid ran and ran.
Look.
He did not look, and
And
I see a blend here. Let's say this word together. Sound it out. Slip. Slip. Let's read it together again. Ready? Scoop it up. He did not look and slipped. And I see an exclamation point, so I have to make my voice very excited. He did not look and slip. Oh my goodness. I love the way you guys did that. You read it better than me. Okay, let's keep reading. I see another exclamation point. Here, let's start up here. I see what is this? A blend. Plop. Good. Plop. Ready? Let's read it together. He fell in a big plop. He fell in a big plop. Yeah, you're right. You read it even better. Okay, let's read it with our reader's voice. Ready? He fell in a big plop. Good. Okay, let's read the next one. Ugh. Ugh. He's like, gross. Ready? Ugh. I got what's this word? Put it together. Crud.
In
On my back. Okay, let's go back because we had a little bit of, we had to figure this word out. So let's go back and let's read that whole sentence again. Ready? Ugh. I got crud on my back. Okay, now I see this question mark right here. Here we go. Is it mud? Like a question. Good. Oh, I see some blends. Sn, sn,
Mm.
sniff,
Mm.
sniff,
Lip.
sniff.
Mm.
No,
No.
it
It
smells
smells
like fish.
is.
Was there another word with a blend on here?
Mm.
We have
No.
sniff. Where else do you see a blend here?
Sniff fish.
Good. Smells.
I
Good job,
see a
Kehlani.
blue
Oh, you see one. You were
one.
seeing one right here, huh, Emily? You were seeing the
Yeah.
sh in fish. Okay, let's keep going. To me, it
It
smells
like
like bad m-
mud, mud,
milk.
milk.
Oh, let's keep reading.
No,
That is
is
not it.
not it.
It
It
smells
smells
like
like
rotten
eggs.
eggs. Good. Bruh, bruh, bruh,
Bruh, bruh,
bruh, bruh, bruh.
bruh, bruh,
Shh,
bruh,
bruh, sh,
shower, brush,
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 brush, brush.
brush,
Brush. Good. Get it off me. Matt got
Got
a
a
sock.
sock.
Sock. Good. Ready? It still, here's our blend, smells
Bad.
bad.
Go
Go get
get
a
a
bath.
bath.
Rashid,
A
a big bath.
big
I
bag.
will.
Will.
Yuck. And and that was the end of our book. So let's read that last line again like it's the end of a book. Ready? Let's read it again. I will.
Yeah.
Yuck. Good job, you guys. Okay, let me turn off the screen here. So remember that whenever we're reading and we see our blends, we have to make sure we make that sound of the blend and then find the rest of the word and put it together. Sound out the rest of the word and put it together. You guys did a really great job looking for blends today, making blends and reading blends. That was a lot of work. You did really good.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. So cute. You're so cute. It's the best part about working with Kinder. Okay, let me, I'm gonna go ahead and close the rooms because it will give a minute. So let me just do that now. It'll be 60 seconds. Okay, so as people are coming back, you could see, I mean, this small group, it is about a 20-minute. I think that one, it was like 17 or something like that, but it is about 20 minutes because you got to think you're doing phonemic awareness, you're doing phonics, and you're doing reading all in one. So you're meeting all of those needs at once. The rally, that phonemic awareness, it really is, it's like boom, 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 boom. It's one thing after another. And especially once the kids get used to it and they know the routine, then it goes even faster. But you saw that the kids got active in the rally, and you saw that they got active in the phonics, the word making section. And it's never going to be perfect, right? But they're in it, they're doing it. We can see what they're doing. We can work with them on each page. And then practicing, making sure that we're getting all three of those components. So those of you guys that were able to watch the videos, if you were in the Bands of Text Complexity room, it's a little bit different than what the other one looks like. So if you have a chance to watch the 4th grade or the 2nd grade one with the anchor charts at a different time, I would encourage you to do that just so you can see what those look like. And today what we're going to do next is we're going to actually go through the step-by-step, the how-to of the putting together the Jamboard. And of course, I know that we all come from different technology standpoints. We have different abilities. So I'm going to walk through it, and then you are welcome to think of another way to do it, but we'll go through it this way together. If you had any questions that popped up while you were watching the videos, go ahead and feel free to put those in the chat. And then before the end of today, I will definitely, we have a question and answer time planned. We're a little behind schedule, but I will try to go through those questions and answer them in the chat to the best of my ability. So just like with the shared reading PD, I did create a step-by-step list, and it's in your resources, and it just goes over step-by-step everything that we're going to do now. Okay, so I'll open this. I'm going to actually pull it over on this side. Not that I need it, but just in case I have it there. And we are going to go through this together. Okay. So since I recorded 2nd grade, 4th grade, and kindergarten, I thought that we could go ahead and plan the 3rd grade unit. So the first thing, let me get into those resources. Where are they? Hold on one second. The ones that I sent you guys. Here they are. So when you're in the resources file, you will see in here the anchor chart Padlet resource. So we are going to plan, for the sake of this time, a small group with the anchor chart. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll through, and I'm going to find 3rd grade. I know that 3rd grade's next unit, if I go to their next unit, because I want to plan something that's going to support the unit that they're working on. So in March, they start research clubs, elephants, penguins, and frogs. Oh my. So now I'm going to go back. I know that's a nonfiction unit. So I have 3rd grade fiction English, 3rd grade nonfiction English, and then I have them in Spanish as well. So now let's come up here to the nonfiction English. I click on it, and then I'm going to click open in new window. Once I'm in this window, now you'll see I have all of the nonfiction units for this grade. So this is the reading to learn, and I'm looking for the research clubs, and there it is. So these are the 2 anchor charts for the research clubs unit. It's all the little pieces, but it's already screenshot for you. So you don't have to redo that work of snipping or any of that. So I'm going to look through here, and I'm going to pick a strategy. Like I could work with the kids on asking questions to develop theories, or using the topic's special vocabulary, or gathering evidence that supports their theories, synthesizing. Or I could work on, these are also part of that same unit. I could work on something a little bit more broad that I think all the kids need. Like for instance, main idea and detail. So I'm going to go ahead and work on main idea or detail. So I'm going to copy this. There's lots of ways to copy it. You can do Control-C, you can right click and hit copy. You can go to edit and hit copy. And now I'm going to open my Jamboard. So I opened a new tab, and I know for some of my techie people, I'm going to take it a little bit slow. So just because I'm trying to find that middle ground. So I'm going to open a new Jamboard. I'm going to click the plus sign. And here's one little trick about Jamboard. There's no right click in Jamboard. So if you want to paste it, you need to do Control-V. So now I'm pasting this in here. So I know I'm going to do boxes and bullets. So I picked my strategy. Now I need to choose my text. Okay, so I have a bunch of options. I could go into RazKids. I could do the toolkit, the comprehension toolkit. Let me show you. Let's see, where is it? Here we go. So let me show you some of the options. If I go into the comprehension toolkit, this is an animal unit for 3rd grade. So I'm going to look at those articles. And there's a ton of different articles here about animals. There's eagles, horses, dolphins. There's even penguins here, which my 3rd grade teachers know that the unit talks about penguins. I also could go into the close reading passages and go into 3rd grade, and I could choose something from here, like gliding animals. For the sake of today, I'm going to go ahead and do that penguin article. So I'm going to come back here. Where is that penguin article? There it is. I'm going to click on it. And now I'm going to download it because I need to take a screenshot of it. I can't really do it here. It's kind of like, it's not showing the whole thing, and it just, I don't know. It's easier to download it. So now I click on it. And now I'm going to take a screenshot of it. And you can do that using your snip tool, which I know a lot of you guys know how to use now because we've been using that a lot this year. So I'm going to snip it. And now I'm going to go back to my Jamboard. And I'm going to, I'll add it here. I'm going to paste it. You guys know how to paste it? Control V, right? I can't do the right click, so I'm going to do Control V. And it comes in here. I'm going to make it bigger by stretching it on this little dot down here on the side. Now I have my text and I have my strategy. Now the next thing is I need to make sure I'm thinking about this structure, right? So the 5 parts, the rally, the teaching point, the try 1, the try 2, and the link. So I'm going to come up here. And if you click on, let me show you again, this little arrow right here, it drops down your frame bar. And now I'm going to duplicate this slide. So I have it twice. And I'm going to make this one my try 1. So this is like the teacher led part. So I'll click on a post-it and I'm just going to type try 1. My hands get so cold in the back house that I can't feel them very well. And so when I'm typing, I make a lot of mistakes because I don't have full feeling in my hands. It's too cold. Okay, so we have try 1. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to make this try 2. So I'll click on the sticky note and make this try 2. So this is where the kids are going to do it. This is where we're going to do it together. So obviously it's only one page. So the part together, not going to do the whole thing. Like I might just do this right there with them. And then they're going to continue. So I have my text. Remember our 4 questions. What is the strategy you're going to use? What is the text you're going to use? How are the kids going to get active? And how will you scaffold it? So if I'm thinking, how am I going to scaffold this? I think a great way to scaffold this would be to give them a sentence frame. I can actually get the sentence frame right from here. So let me move this because this section is mostly about. A few supporting details are. So I'm going to just create another post-it note. This section is mostly about. Those of you guys that have TC are very accustomed to hearing that phrase. A few supporting details are. And now I have my sentence frame. And I'm just going to change that color so it stands out. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. I'll make this a little bit smaller. Okay, so now I have this page is ready. I'm going to copy this and put it on the other page. So I click it, Control C to copy it. And I'm going to go to my other slide. And I'm going to do, again, Control V to paste it. Okay, so now I have both pages ready. Now what I'm missing is I'm missing my rally, my teaching point, and my link. So I'm going to go ahead and do I'm going to add a page here, and I'm going to make this my teaching point. And my teaching point is, it's the strategy. That's all it is. So I don't even need to really do anything special. I'm just going to copy this, Control C, Control V to paste it. Oh, whoops, sorry. I'm on my Mac, so it's a little bit different. Let me try that one more time. And then I'm just going to make it big because this is my teaching point. Today, I want to teach you that when readers of nonfiction are reading, they think about what sections are mostly about and what details support it. My link is going to be the same as this. So I'm going to just duplicate this by clicking on these three dots and clicking duplicate. And I'm going to drag it over here to the end. And I'm just going to change it to my link. Okay, so now the only part we're missing is the rally, where we initially get them active. We get them in it. Oh, and one other thing, actually, sorry, let me go back. So the fourth question is, how do we get the kids active? So if I think about main idea and detail, what makes the most sense to get them active is highlight the details and write a Post-it note for the main idea. So I'm going to just add a Post-it note with some directions. So write the main idea on a Post-it note and highlight the supporting details. And that's honestly more for me than it is for them, because I'm going to say it like a million times when we're in the group, as you heard me say in the sample groups. Okay, so now I'm going to add that to try one as well. And I'm almost done. The only thing I have left is to create the rally. So now I am going to come to my rally, add a page. This is my first page. I'm going to just put rally up there. So just for my own organization, not because the kids need that. They don't need to know that terminology. But this is just for me so that I know I'm going through the parts. Oops. Okay, so rally and warm up. So now I need to think to myself, what is it that I want the kids to do that is going to get them warmed up? You can do something like, if you were in my second grade group, I believe, or no, maybe it was the fourth grade anchor chart group, you saw that I did something kind of a little bit different to prepare them for the work that they were going to be doing. But the easiest thing to do to get them active is to take some of the elements of the unit and have them say, and you saw this in the bands of text complexity, what are you doing? What do you still need work on? So they're goal setting. So I might say, like, ask questions and develop theories. Control C, and now I'm going to paste it. Okay, and then I'm going to choose another one. Let's see, use the topic special vocabulary, pasting them. And I'll do synthesizing information across text. You don't have to do a lot. I'm just telling the kids that I want them to decide how they're doing in each of these areas. So make them fit.
Okay, so
Okay,
No.
and then the last part, somebody has their mute off, just so you know. So we don't accidentally say anything. Okay, and we come here. Okay, sorry, I'm anal. I'm a little anal. I want them to be all the same size. I can't help it. Okay, so now I'm going to add my Post-it note with the directions. Circle the skills that you are still working on or that you want to set a goal for. And that's it. I'm done. That's the whole small group. Of course, I realize it's easier when you know, when you have the tech background, but it really wants, oh, and let me share one more thing. I accidentally unshared my screen. The beautiful thing about this is now this Jamboard is done. So if I want to now do this with multiple kids at different levels, all I have to do is I click on the three dots, I click make a copy. I'm going to call this one level, let's say K, main idea and detail board or small group. And now all I need to do, it will make the copy. I'll just come in here and I'll delete these texts and put something else in there instead. Once I've done that and I'm ready to give it to the kids, the only other thing I need to do is I need to come to this try to, and I'm going to add one more Post-it note with the student's name on it, so that they know which slide or frame is theirs. And then if I have, let's say 5 kids in the group, I'll come here and I'll duplicate this 5 times. Okay, so I've never really done a training that is quite like like this. The seesaw one was a little bit like that, but I do want to tell you that truly this is one way to do it. And I want to share it with you because I want you to be able to see it. But if you say, you know what, that doesn't work for me, that's okay. The point is not you have to do Jamboard. The point is not you have to do it like this. You have to use these texts. The point is, how are we making sure that our kids get active? And this is one way that we could do it. Okay. So we're going to end with 3 things, actually. I'm going to go over the resources page with you guys because for my teachers that maybe aren't quite as techie, I've realized that one of the issues that you have sometimes is that you're like, where do I find this stuff? Right?
Yeah.
Like, I know you gave it to me, but where do I find it? So I'm going to show you right now what you should do in order to keep track of this. Okay. So the resources are, I do this every training. I've been doing it for like the last 4 or 5 trainings. So hopefully, let me bring you guys back up. Okay, there we go. So hopefully you've gotten the emails with these, but this is how I've been sharing the resources with you guys. So I try to put everything so that you don't have to go back to the slides because it can be a little confusing. It's all in one place. So I always start with the full PD, where you can watch the PD. And then I put the slide deck in there. Then if I've recorded any sample video, so if you're like, I went to the Bands of Text Complexity group, if you went to the Bands of Text Complexity group, I highly encourage you to watch the 4th grade one because the Bands of Text Complexity group was not my best, but I put it in there because it is what it is. But these are all in here, these 4. The planning template, if you're like, I need to see this visually, not on the slides, but just real simple, it's in here. The steps that I walk through to create that Jamboard, if you're thinking to yourself, I liked it, but I don't know if I could redo that, all the steps are there. if you are wanting to access those anchor charts, that was a labor of love last year. Okay. So nothing brings me more joy than to see, anybody using those because it was very time consuming. So if you use those, you make my day. Okay. The bands of text complexity cards. So upper grade fiction, upper grade nonfiction, and then the lower grade bands of text complexity or reading behaviors cards. So then if you're like, oh, where do I find all those texts again? Here's the decodable texts. Here's the Raz Kids close read passages, the comprehension toolkit articles, the test prep texts. You're like, oh my gosh, there's so many resources. And I didn't get a chance to add what I'm going to do is I'm going to add all the templates for all the Jamboards that you saw today. Okay. So that will be there within the next like 24 hours, probably. Now, the question is, how do I find this? Here's what you're going to do. So I put the link in there earlier. Once you have opened this, I see that there's some of you in there. All you're going to do, watch this. You're going to click once. Okay. And then you're going to drag and drop it somewhere on your bar, preferably in a folder, but I'm not going to get into that right now. Drop it somewhere on your bar. And you see that it's like this long name. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to edit it. And I'm going to just put it as something that I know. So I'm going to call it resources. And I have 4 minutes left. So I'm just going to show you the folder real quick. If I wanted to do a folder, I go to this white space. I right click on it. I click add folder. And I'm going to call this resources. And it's over here. It goes into this abyss over here. So I'm going to drag it. And now I can actually drag that in there. And I can keep all my resources from any PD that I ever attend in that one folder. You can even create folders within the folders. You could have phonics and I have had it on my to-do list for like 2 months now to create a tech tutorial on how to do this, because I think this is so crucial to being able to organize your stuff and find things. So that is how you would do that. And I'm going to end. We have 3 minutes. I'm just going to end real quick with the feedback survey. I'm going to put this in the chat. And I realize that all this tech is not for everyone. That's okay. Not every PD is going to be the exact right fit, but I do hope that you were able to get something out of today and leave me the feedback. You know, I always read it. And if you have any questions that you would like to ask now, you can. I will quickly go through the chat. There was a question about Spanish. Will this be offered in Spanish? That throughout the whole training today, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I kept mentioning this is available in Spanish. This is available in Spanish. So the toolkit articles are available in Spanish. Those anchor charts that I made are available in Spanish. The one thing I didn't put on there was the bands of text complexity in Spanish. I'll add those. So Mireya, thanks for saying that. I will add the bands of text complexity in Spanish. Amy, I saw that Nicole answered you on your question. Salvador, the link for the anchor charts will be in that resources doc. So I will upload that again right now. And somebody asked if I could review how to get your kids on Jamboard during Zoom. Yes. So that actually is a really good question. So there's probably quite a few of you that are wondering this. So let me show you. So you'll come in your Jamboard, you'll come to share. You will change this to be anyone with the link and editor, because you want the kids to be able to work on it. Then I'm going to click copy link. Done. Now I'm going to go into Zoom. Like, let's say if I was working with the kids and I go into the chat and I just paste the link in the chat. And as soon as it goes in the chat, it will, if they have an iPad, it will pop up and they click on it. If they're on a Chromebook, then they'll go into the chat and they'll be able to click on it. If I want my kids to not be able to edit it anymore, like I don't want them getting in it anymore because they're going in there and they're messing it up afterwards, I'm just going to come back here to share. I'm going to click change, and I'm going to change this from editor to viewer. Now, immediately, like on their iPads, all the little tools will disappear within like 2 seconds, 3 seconds. So they can't edit it anymore. So then when I'm ready for them to edit it again, I just come back in and I switch this back to editor. Done. And within a couple seconds, they'll have the tools again. On the Chromebook, they'll need to refresh, but they know how to do that. And they're able to edit it again. I highly recommend making a copy. So not sharing your original with them because you want to be able to use it again and again and again. So before doing this with kids, hit make a copy on those 3 dots and click OK. And then this is the one you would share with the kids. If there's any other questions, I'm happy to stay around. And otherwise, if you could just fill out that feedback form. And I know you guys have a staff meeting right now, so thanks for coming today and see you guys around.